Hey guys, John Wetmore here from Atlanta. First of all, I just want to say thank you, Sean. I appreciate you having me on to share a little bit here. Of course, Sizer for setting everything up and everything everybody there at corporate does to help get this stuff out there. So again, happy to be here and part of this. And, we're going to talk today a little bit about getting agents started, getting them started quick. Obviously, we got some stuff we're working with this week, things going on. I think the coolest thing is really being part of something, not only a company, but an industry, especially industry that's, we're out to really set that this thing is really recession proof and people are having a crazy need. And it's really cool watching everybody really go out there and continue to kill it and help families and do what they got to do to take care of theirs. And, being creative with whatever we got to do to help people. So it's really cool to see you guys out there continue to crush it. And of course, we all appreciate all the hard work everybody is doing to get out there and continue to keep up with the demand because it's high. And obviously things going on, mortgage rates are down, going to be a lot of refinances coming up and a lot of opportunities. So continue to stay out there grinding, go through it, building a business, going through things doesn't come without its ups and downs. And, but those of you that are out there continuing to not let it get in your way, man, it's fun to see and very inspiring. So keep doing what you guys are doing. When it comes to hiring now, one of the, and I'll go through quite a few things here, and might bounce around a little bit based on my thoughts, but it's funny. One of the most common things, questions that I get is whether or not I started hiring right away or if I waited. And although I didn't have necessarily a ton of success with hiring right away, I did start right away. I remember I was commuting to my job. I had an accounting job at the time, and in the mornings and the evenings it'd take hour and a half easy, typically each way. So I was doing interviews then, just in the car, so for any of you guys getting started, just figuring this thing out, even, I talked to a lot of people that are part-time, doing some other stuff, starting this thing, and don't let it discourage you, from getting started right away. I think that's, looking back, the most important thing I did. Certainly I made a lot of mistakes, and we'll go through and certainly give you guys some insight based on the things I've learned over the years. But again, although I look to get better all the time, those times when I was bad, when I wasn't really good at, getting people started well, taught me a lot. I had a lot of conversations with honestly, at the beginning, I was getting interviewed. I wasn't really good at, taking control of the conversations early. I remember I would get grilled with questions and I couldn't answer them confidently. I kind of knew the answers, but again, people were more in control, and very, very much a different time as well. At the beginning of this deal, we were trying to sell the company. We were new. So it was a lot different then too. But again, talking to a lot of the wrong people taught me a lot. Taught me how to ask really good questions, how to get to the point, how to identify certain things in agents that make people move. And just, again, no different than you guys that are out selling. If you've been selling for any length of time, you can pick up on things a lot better, and you can read clients really well, and you know how to set them up with questions to lead them down a path where you're trying to go, and kind of get there quickly and efficiently, and take control of the conversation. It's the same with hiring, interviewing, and getting agents started, but no different than, funny, a lot of managers reach out with frustration with where they're at in terms of hiring and building. And when we start looking at the level of activity that some people are putting in, like sometimes the managers are coming at me similar to how new agents come at the managers, like, hey, we did 32 dials and I have 2 appointments, not 20 like these other guys. And one of the biggest things I get is people coming and asking questions, and I ask a few questions back, and some folks are interviewing like a couple people a week and expecting some kind of crazy result. So I think, we have to look at it like activity trumps everything. So anything I'm going to give you in terms of systems or things I've learned, conversations I've had, structure, things like that. All that's irrelevant if you're not doing enough. If you're not out there talking to enough people every day, and every week, and creating systems based on the things you're going through to make it easier, it's all irrelevant anyway. Again, it's like sitting and spending hours and hours teaching somebody in home who's running. I had a guy this week reach out that's running 3 appointments a week and who's making great money, good ROI, relative to how much was being put in, but no appointments over the course of several months. I'm like, there's only so much you can do with that. I think everybody that's hiring understands that side. So when it comes to building, really, it's no different. Again, it's making sure we're talking to enough people all the time. So again, activity trumps it all. It really does. Now, once we're doing that activity, I think, for me, what I've learned over the years is how similar it is to selling. So two things. I think I might start with the person that's like newer to hiring, because another one I get, like I talked to somebody this week and he says, I really want to hire. I'm excited about building. I really want to have a business, but I want to wait until I figure this thing out and get good at it till I hire. And I said, why? And I just waited. And he had no good answer. And it was just really, I think it's a fear-based thing. It's, again, no different than a new agent who wants to know every product before they hit the phones. I think it's fear stopping people in their tracks. And that's one of the most common things we get is people don't want to start hiring or building until they know that they're good. And like my buddy Killen always says, what if you're never good? Maybe you'll miss out on building a business if all you're waiting on is for you to figure out how to be the number one producer. Not that I don't want you to go out there and get better and figure out how to sell a bunch, but again, if you wait on giving people the opportunity, it's a selfish move, and as much as there is for systems and trainings and access, and it's no offense, nobody needs you necessarily as one individual person or me or anybody else individually to have success here. There's a blueprint in place and there's plenty of resources available. I think any one person, again, if you're newer, don't feel overwhelmed that you have to be everything to everybody. That's a massive mistake I made at the beginning, is I felt like I had to give every answer to everybody about everything. And the reality is, you guys just have to, especially now with access to, there's so many people killing it out there. Such great trainers we have in the company now, so many people willing to share everything they're doing. So really all you have to do now, if you even have an inkling of wanting to build, or at the very least just want to have people, in your circle, or just give people opportunities, do just that. And just provide people, again, if you're new, give others the same opportunity you have access to right now, and talk to them about coming along for the ride. Hey, these guys over here are training me to do X, Y, Z. Here's what's going on. These guys are selling 40, 50, 60, 70 grand a month, putting in, we, as you guys see the leaderboards, there's countless people did over 400 grand this year, and we have access to this. They're training me. Why don't you come along and learn with me? It's as simple as that. That's a struggle. Sometimes I remember talking to Twardowski a good bit, and some of his guys that were hesitating to hire, when we switched it to, hey, Zach's helping me figure out how to sell at a high level. Do you want to learn with me? And just connect them with Zach. And he's got this group in Ohio that's blowing up. And literally all they do is tell everybody about what the opportunity is and get them on the phone with Zach. And he talks to them, and we implement them into everything else, put them through the training, onboarding, get them tied into meetings and regular trainings, and keep it moving. And the guys that are bringing these other agents into Family First Life are building a team. And the reality is we ain't even got to the point where we're teaching them to really manage much of anything yet. It's the systems, things Zach has in place, staff, all that's handling it. So most of you guys out there, if you're new, your manager, VP, someone in your circle has a system in place that you can just push people towards. So if you're brand new to it, just literally put people in, and we will teach you along the way how to manage agents and where you should be involved and where you shouldn't. And again, it's a learning process. None of us were perfect at it. We all certainly make mistakes with it regularly. But I think everybody that's built any kind of significant team, one, has had a lot of help, other people around them, starting out early, obviously having a lot of help from mentors and, you know, people that were teaching me how to do this thing. And now it's a lot of help from managers that have stepped up and taken on responsibility in different agencies. So the evolution of this thing over time certainly changes. So again, it's utilize everything around you if you're new to hiring. Don't feel like it has to be just you, because I think now the ones that are growing the most are the best promoters, and really understand how to get people in, get them in smoothly, get them through the process, and get them, you know, tied in and connected with others that are having success. You see guys like Nick's blowing up, Grady's blowing up. I'll start naming names, we'll get in trouble, but you know, just off the top of my head, some of the guys, they're just really good at that process. So with that said, I again, if you have things in place, you know, I think for me, systems are important. They just, I know for me, like if I go back, I can be forgetful of stuff. You know, and systems don't have to be complicated. I remember I used to tell Luffles all the time. He would, Zach, if you're watching, you might remember this one, man. We, you know, early on, he wanted to know, because I was an Excel dork. So I put stuff in Excel just because it's what I've used. And I remember telling Zach, I'm like, dude, it doesn't matter if you use like some crayons and a napkin, just like keep track of some stuff, you know, because I remember at the beginning, man, and even all the way in, one of the biggest struggles I think I see for myself and other agencies is kind of forgetting and losing track of people, who's who, where they're at, what step in the process they are, if we got them this form or that form, or if they sent it back or didn't. And just kind of keeping up with where everybody's at seems to be the hardest part. Certainly hiring them isn't difficult at all now. What we have access to, leads, you know, the comp contracts, bonus structure, partnerships with integrity, and you know, everything we have access to. I don't think anybody struggles selling that now. So, you know, getting them on board, you know, with those pieces is simple. You know, so again, I think losing track of people is where I see most struggles, where we struggled. And you felt like maybe you were hiring a ton of people, and y'all may feel this, you know, we're hiring so many people, maybe even we're contracting so many people, but our volume isn't going up, or the writers aren't there, or it isn't blowing up like I expect it to or feel it should. Sometimes that's a struggle. So for me, I'll address that first. You know, I think early on in you know, my career here, like a lot of agents want to know what we do today, and I don't mind sharing it. We'll tell you everything we do today, but today is based on where we're at within the business. Some of the systems we have now are because of that. Where early on it wasn't that way. Early it was simple. Again, my deal was I would tend to forget stuff. You know, especially when I was out in the field trying to sell and interview so many people, I know certainly I would forget things. So for me, again, a simple little system, and I know things are very different today. I printed out resumes and kept them on my front seat. Y'all probably have an app for it now. I don't. So again, I apologize for that part, but you know, for me, something as simple as when I was out in the field and I decided to hire someone, I remember going, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you text me? I know this is going to sound silly because we're talking, but I'm trying to get it to my staff so I can get you started quick. And I'm in the car and I don't want to forget. Can you text me your full name, your address, your email, cell number, and I'll forward it over to Amanda. She'll get you all the information here in a minute. I remember going and doing that. They text it to me because, again, now I didn't have to remember anything or pull over and write it down, or, you know, again, simple stuff. They texted, I'd forward it over, and she knew what to do. Then it evolved into, we created like a little online form. She probably uses Google or whatever, but a little online form. It's real simple. And now what we do is if we hire someone, you literally just, there's a website, you save it, and we just type in the new hire's basic information, hit submit, and it sends them the email automatically now. you know, so again, it started out really manual at one point, and we figured out how to do it a little bit more automated today. And again, that process has changed over the time. But for me, it was, all right, some way to know who's where, right? So we bring them on board, we get them whatever information we need to get them. Again, once they're onboarded, it's, you know, affidavit, things like that today. We get it over to them, and again, once you're hiring a bunch. I remember when first I used to keep it written down on a sheet of paper. I just had the paper with me. I had a notebook, and I would keep it with me every day. People I hired, who was in the group, who was selling. This one I had like no agents, 1, 2, 3, you know what I mean, in process. I would just keep up with it. And I remember Killamette taught me to, at night before I was out in the field or going out to run, just kind of when I'm writing it down, who the agents are within the group, to put on my calendar who I had to call and for what reason. So I would do that at night. So when I was out in the field, or even now, again, in an office day, I have a list of who I need to touch base with. You know, it might be new hires, it might be someone in the field, it might be someone I hired yesterday. But at some point, again, for me, it's doing something to keep up and keep track of it, so I don't lose track of people. Again, think about if you were hired somewhere and someone says, yeah, I'll get you XYZ, and 3 days go by and they don't get it. It gets weird, you know? So I don't want it to be on me. So again, simple things like that. You know, again, now, if I go back to the beginning when we had it on paper, next step for me was a whiteboard. Then we just started keeping stuff on a whiteboard, the agent's name, where they were at, and what stage of the process they were in. Again, whether they were in class or they were in contracting, or they were, you know, had purchased leads. We just had a little checklist along the way. Again, happy to share the details, but it was just different stages that we had to take people through. And then, you know, and then from there it turned into, now we have a crazy system now where it's, you know, all goes in and gets logged in Excel all through a website. So again, it can be as simple or as robust as based on where you're at now. But just have something so you at least know who your agents are. Again, if you're hiring enough a week, you are going to forget. And if you aren't feeling overwhelmed by that, it means you aren't doing enough. You know, so that's a very normal part of the process, and you should embrace it and enjoy that journey, because I look back on it now and it's, man, you know, that hard work, going through that overwhelming, chaotic time, man, it's come forward to pay off such dividends. You know, and there's some things I made a big deal out of along the way that I certainly wish I didn't. You know, I was overwhelmed and stressed about the wrong thing. Again, it taught me a lot, so it's okay. But if we can help you guys get there quicker, and me being overwhelmed was just lack of organization early on. And again, every one of us is different. Some of us like Excel, some of us don't. So I can't give specifics, because everybody has things that work for them. So find what works for you. I know if I did, again, that text, or if someone, again, this isn't necessarily with hiring per se, but if I'm talking to an agent and for whatever reason, we need to take care of something, sometimes I will ask people to send me an email. Like, dude, can you shoot me an email? Because I'll forget when I'm in front of the computer. I'll take care of it. For me, that's a little system, because I can be forgetful, because I have so much going on at all times. I don't want to forget something little, because that's the small stuff is really important in this business. And communication and doing things that you say you're going to do are key. So again, for me, I know I can be forgetful for stuff, but I can remember to check my email, and I can remember to check my schedule. So if the things I need to do are either in my email or on my schedule, it simplifies my process and my mental energy along the way. It makes it easier to retain more info and not be slowed down by everything. I think some of us let so much of this day in and day out stuff clog our brains up that it slows us down and hurts us in a lot of ways. So for me, again, my mind can race sometimes. If I can simplify things and create really easy processes, I can get more done and, you know, again, be more effective. You know, so for, again, onboarding part, you know, our goal, one of us, you know, when we're hiring, is really to get people paid as quick as possible. I think if anybody starting goes too long without getting paid, they're human. They're bound to second guess their decision to join you or us. Their family, their spouses, their parents, their whoever, their circle is certainly going to question them. Think about any time you've got a new job, or even when any of you guys started here. Certainly people in each of our circles have an opinion, and you've got to remember that if you don't communicate clearly, really go out of your way to help people. It's hard to build a big business if you aren't willing to do things when they're really inconvenient for you. And you have to go way out of your way to make yourself available. If you're choosing to hire and you want to build something and you expect to be compensated for providing others with an opportunity, and you've got to earn your pay. And it's a lot of work on the phone. It's a lot of time, a lot of hours, well worth it. Because again, when one of the biggest struggles I see now is there are some people out there, and I went through this stage myself, is where I was trying to build it solely for the money. Nothing. And that was the driver, and it was hard to build then. And this is many years ago, but the reality is it was all very selfish. And again, I think we all get into this to some extent for the money, but when that's the main focus, again, an agent needs help at 9:30 on a Friday night, and you're doing it for the money and not to help agents, and you're out at a dinner date, you ain't picking up if it's for the money. But if it's an agent that needs some help, and it's you helping them make their first $68 a month sale, that could change their world. And I can think, me and Mike talk a lot about this. And we love a lot of systems and automation and things like that a lot of people have going on, but just as simple as using your phone and answering it is the biggest key to really growing this thing and being available again. If people weren't available to me when I was new, I certainly wouldn't have been able to figure this thing out. And the least I could do is make myself available. If I'm going to hire someone, tell them about the opportunity. Let them know that I'm here for them. Because again, otherwise, what are you hiring for? No different than selling. You're in a home, and clients are looking at you to make sure you're going to be there to take care of them and their family when they die. In my view, any agent that you hire is looking at you like, hey, I'm dependent on you for my family to eat. And again, it doesn't mean you have to be the answer person for everything, but you've got to at least do the things that allow them the most opportunity to win. And sometimes that's getting out of the way too. And crazy enough, I had to learn that sometimes too. Kilomet's helped me a lot with how to communicate with different agents at what point. But again, early on, it's a lot of time on the phones. And again, if you aren't feeling overwhelmed, you aren't anywhere near on the right track. And if you are feeling overwhelmed, keep doing it. It gets easier, and you get better at it, especially if you're reaching up for help and going through. And just like selling, again, continuing to communicate with people that have already experienced the things you've experienced has helped me. I feel like I had a cheat code, being able to watch Kilomet at arm's length, basically grow this thing and the struggles he was going through. And I would reach out to guys like Mark and Andrew and Paul, Matt, guys like and plenty of other guys, and just like, hey, and just find out what they were doing, what they have going on. As recently as even this year, myself and Amanda got on the phone with other staff that was in a similar position to where we were, and we just kind of brainstorm on what things we're going through, what's working for you, what's not, what are you seeing. And that's been something I've done since very early on as well. I tell, for instance, I was talking to Frank DeSena the other day. I'm like, dude, you should be talking to other people that are similar size. Like, why not? Why would you not be talking to Dom, who's got a little more volume, Zach, who's going through very similar things, reaching out to a Grady, who's, was in your spot 6-8 months ago. Why would you not use that as a cheat code? Again, no different than we do on the sales side. We're always trying to, see who we can relate to and learn from each other. So I think that's a very big part of things I've done over the years to learn this thing, is to understand I'm just one guy, man, trying to help as many people as I can, and certainly not perfect, but I can take as much information as I can from others and implement it into our agency best we can. So, that's where a lot of this stuff comes from. So again, onboarding for me, if I kind of back up, I think what I really want to do with new agents is really set, again, very similar to in-home, short-term goals and structure. I think we're all very familiar when we're in a house, we talk about who we are, why we're there, and what's going to happen today. And we're very assumptive in the fact that someone filled out a lead and we know they need insurance, right? And our job is to find the holes, if you will, in their situation and plug them. If we find a problem, we can solve it. And, it makes us, and if they like us and trust us, and again, we're very assumptive in that process, and we just assume everything the way it is, a good majority of the time it works out. And so when we're dealing with agents, we're assuming we know they're looking at us, like I said a minute ago, to really help them with their financial situation. And I don't think people would be coming here if they were excited out of their mind about where they were at in their career. Some people have a nice financial situation coming into, but they're trying to improve it even more so. But again, one of the biggest things, I was talking to a guy at convention that was an attorney making, I think it was 150 G's a year. He was just unhappy with his career. It's not what he wanted to do, and he's like, I enjoy being around people, that you guys are killing it here, and I want to build something bigger and better. And then we have people that come into it just in really bad situations, like I was, and many of the top managers and VPs here started with nothing. So again, here is setting short-term goals and structure, understanding where people want to go is helpful for that, right? Because I can't set the same exact short-term goals and structure for a guy who is part-time like I was and wants to, work a couple of days a week, as the guy who's coming in making 150 grand a year. We're trying to replace it. There are going to be differences for sure. But for me, what I'm trying to do is figure out, again, where people want to go, what kind of money they want to make, what they're making today. I try to get an understanding of where they're at financially. Again, if you're talking to people, you can kind of tell. I'm not going to really go through full interview process. We're going to kind of assume past that, and we've hired these people. What I want to let them know, again, is I'm big on communication. I let people know early on that I'm here to help, support, guide, and mentor them through this process, and really help them expedite their learning process in this industry, whether they're new to it or not. And if they're not, just with things that they're going to have to learn to, again, improve the situation they're coming into us with. But the more I understand where they want to go, again, where they want to be financially, now I can make more of a step-by-step for them. So I like to find out where they want to be, if there's a spouse involved or not, I like to ask if there's any schedule limitations. So let's just say I have a guy that says he wants to make, again, he's making 40 grand a year now. He wants to make 100 grand, wife, couple kids, and, a pretty normal schedule, and wants to transition over. That's a very common agent we hire. So I like to figure out people's schedule, things they can't move. I like to figure out an ideal schedule, because for me, my ideal schedule meant I could see my kids on the days I wanted to see them. But if I didn't do what I had to do on the off days, I would lose that right. So when I sat down with Killamet, we built my ideal schedule. And that included when I had my kids on an evening for dinner, and when I had them every other weekend, I didn't want to have to work during those times. So I put those things in first. I put in Sundays for church, as an ideal situation. And then I put like 1 weekend a month where I wouldn't work and just chill with Steph and Maddox. That was my ideal world. And then I built my run schedule around that, which again, for us was the traditional. So I try to help them understand what they're going to have to do, and everybody's situation is different. I've seen all kinds of schedules, but I try to hammer down what the schedule is going to be, assume and find out if they have support at home, and any limitations. So now, again, my job is to guide, support, and mentor them. This is very similar to, someone who goes up to a Matt Walker and's like, hey, I want to get into shape. What do I got to do? He's probably got to figure out schedule, and all right, we gotta set some goals with how much you got to work out, what you got to eat, and how quickly we can get you where you want to be. And I'm trying to do the same thing. So I'm trying to really customize this thing to the person I'm talking to versus really be generic, because I can actually help this person better if I know their situation. And I'd rather spend a little bit more time. Not saying you got to spend 19 hours on the phone getting to know everybody inside and out, but 20-30 minute conversation with a guy to figure out his situation, how I can help him, is worth the time up front for me, because then now I can guide them very smoothly. So again, figuring out schedule. I think one of the hardest things I see people struggle with is getting people started. Is I think we lose them at the phones. So I'll address that a little bit, because I try to cover that up front. Very similar to me as getting, I want to think about it in the house. The better I deal with it at the beginning, the less frustration there is later. So I talk to people about getting on the phone right away. How quickly how quickly you looking to get started quick? I assume they all say yes. I go, all right, can you start dialing Monday? If we get leads in your hand, can you start dialing Monday? Yes. If there's any hesitation, which sometimes there is, it tends to be circled around, again, knowing the product. I don't know the product. I don't know. So for me, I've learned to really minimize that a lot. And, if I'm talking to, I don't know, Bob, I go, all right, Bob, let me ask you, you good to dial Monday? Yeah, but, I really need to know the product. I go, all right, Bob, let me ask you a question, man. I assume when you say you're worried about product, I assume you mean eligibility, like knowing what product someone qualifies for is all you're worried about, correct? I promise you they'll all say yes. Every agent I've ever talked to says yes to that question. I go, all right, cool, no big deal then. We have a really simple system. We have a cheat sheet. That's the easy part. I can teach you that in like 20 minutes. So let's worry about getting you on the phone, getting some appointments booked. First thing Monday morning, get on the phone, leave some time Monday night. We'll take care of it. Amanda will get you set up with everything you need, logins, all that stuff. And I really just push that to the side. Because again, it's, what's the point of getting into it if I can't get them on the phone? And with agent hotlines and call twice if you're sitting in the house and need some help, and our underwriting guides and grids and cheat sheets you all have, it's very easy to help someone know what to write. So I let them know that. I literally make that because that is the easiest part once you get them in homes. So I push right by that and just talk about getting on the phones. And if I can get them to commit to getting on the phones Monday morning, now it's on. Leads varies by everybody. Facebook leads, about everybody can buy some leads starting out. Certainly we've helped people with leads a ton along the way. I'm a big fan of matching people that are doing things. A big gauge for us, one of the things we like to really look at is who stands out. So if you guys are going through a lot of people and you want to know who to work with, just go, who stands out? It's been a really good question for me over the years. Even if you have 5 people and they're all brand new, someone stands out. Someone's getting the paperwork back quicker. Someone is nicer via email to staff. Someone is more grateful on the phone versus someone. There's always differences. Someone shows up earlier at the office. Someone studies more than someone always stands out. So if you got 5, one always stands out. You take those, you got 4 left. One of those 4 stands out. And that's helped me at least spend a little bit of time with some people is using that as a really, really good gauge. Just again, who stands out, who asks more questions than others, who's, again, some complain more than others, so who does that less? It has been a really good gauge. So once I get them forward and get them on the phone, now I know that's where the battle's at. So I talk to them a lot about the phones. And yes, it's simple, but I want you to understand, if I could put every bit of knowledge you're going to need to know in a bottle or in a pill and give it to you, before you started dialing, I'd be a billionaire. But it's impossible. So at the beginning, although, yes, I want you to book appointments, I don't want that to be your main goal, because if that is your main goal, you're going to be disappointed. Meaning if you don't book your first one, right, they hang up on you, and your second one says they're not interested, and your third one, you know, says they don't know who you are, and your goal was just to book, which again, that's the end result. I get you, but now you're disappointed. I want you to just try to get 30 people on the phone your first day. Can we do that? I just want that to be your goal. Who cares? Yes, we're going to try to book some, but day one, I just want you to see how many you can get on the phone. Mess it up or not, do your best to try to book it, whatever. As we go through the day, maybe halfway through, you talk to 15, you get some objections. We'll check in for a couple minutes and I'll make a couple tweaks. But frankly, until you talk to like 50 people, there's not a ton I'm going to be able to do. You know, again, I could give you all the things to overcome now. The second someone says something on the phone, you're going to freeze and you're not going to remember anything I said anyway. So why don't you just knock it out? It's not that deep. They fill it out a form, you know, and I always go like this. I go, listen, pretend for a second. I mean, you don't really know each other, right? But pretend I left my jacket at your place and, you know, or at a restaurant or whatever, and you see it, you got to catch up with me later. I want you to call the clients like that. Like, hey, John, yeah. Hey, this is Bob. Remember me? I'm the new guy. Yeah, dude, you left your jacket at the restaurant and I got to swing it by. I'll be over there tomorrow. You home at like 10 or 2? If you can have that tonality, you'll do really good on the phone. Keeping it stupid simple. Again, knowing there's plenty to learn, but right now I don't need them to learn everything. All I need them to do is get 30 people on the phone, and then I can work with them. If I'm book as many as you can, they get 2 on the phone and stop dialing. Now I got to battle something different. So I like to set the expectation up front that that's not the ultimate goal. Again, I like to use the example all the time. If we're playing football, yeah, I'm like, again, Tom Brady's in the news this week. You know, he gets out there on the football field. What's his goal after the first kickoff? Again, is it a touchdown, or is it just to get a bunch of first downs? You know, certainly if it was just a touchdown, he'd be having to throw 80-yard bombs most drives, but it's let's get some first downs, little wins, little victories, and do that really well over the course of the game. We win a lot of games, you know. And if I can have that same mentality on the phone, I can book a lot of appointments. And again, I'm letting people know throughout this is going to be again, much like starting a new workout program. This is going to be painful at the beginning. Remember the first time you did a leg workout, or you do curls for the first time in like a couple of years, and like you can't even straighten your arms and you can't get up out of your chair. Like, this might be painful at the beginning, man, but I'm going to get you through this thing quick. And I tell all the new guys this, usually for the first 30 days or so, I talk to all my new agents multiple times a day, just so we can get the coaching done quick and I can get you off and running and making all the money you want to make as soon as possible. Is that fair? Again, they say yes. You know, I like to let people know that I'm going to work as hard for them as they work for themselves. So if they don't find this urgent, I'm not going to really find it urgent either. I've certainly let people know that, again, especially when I was in the field running, you know, I would let people know, listen, I'm just trying to find people who are looking for an opportunity and allow me to do what I do, which is continue to sell a bunch of insurance. And be clear, Bob, and please don't take this disrespectfully, but I don't need you. Clients need agents to help them. I'm trying to give people an opportunity, and I'm looking for people who want to help their family as much as I want to help mine. If that's not you, that's okay, but I'll probably quit you before you quit me if you don't take this thing seriously. And I've had so many agents over the years thank me for saying that, which sounds, again, maybe sounds harsh, and I don't mean it in any bad way at all. But again, I can go out and make $500,000 with leads in my cell phone. None of you need any one agent. Again, we should be doing this to really want to help people and build a business. Yes. So it is some balance of giving everybody an opportunity and hiring a bunch of people, and choosing to hire people who you're going to have to some extent work with every day. So again, if you want to build this thing big, be willing to do that. It is a lot of work on the phone, a lot of time, a lot of mental energy. Killiman likes to say we're HR department. Sometimes some of you guys will be laughing about that one. We get a kick out of that thing. And for me, I think one of the things I've started to really look at is, like, Mike was in baseball, and we were talking one day, and I said, man, I look at this thing kind of like a farm system. And, he got drafted out of high school. I'm probably going to mess this up, but I can't remember what team he got drafted by. I'll mess it up, so I won't guess. He got drafted by somebody. And, when whatever professional team it is, let's just say the Yankees, they're really popular. The Yankees have their professional team, and then they have all these farm teams. And again, they have AA, AA, AAA, whatever it is. And I don't know which way it goes up and down, but there's different levels of professional athletes, right? And the guy who's riding the bus to the middle of nowhere to play a game where I think they make like $50 a game, they're still technically professionals. And then you got guys in the pros that are, out there making what they make for the same game. They're just in a different level of the organization. And I remember Mike used to always tell me, if you want to get paid like a professional, you better act like a professional. And all of us get paid, in my opinion, and many others, according to the amount of work they put in. And I don't think anybody's confused, especially in like the Yankees organization, that outside of the people that are just there because they're brand new, right out of high school, maybe they're not in the majors yet, but guys that've been there for a while, they know what it takes to make the major. They're watching it, and again, not that there isn't exclusions for people with injuries, and certainly some people more talented than others, and certainly, but at the end of the day, nobody's confused that the athletes that are out there at the highest level, getting paid the most money and having the most impact, they're doing the most work. They're showing up to practice early. They're studying plays and playbooks and teams and opponents and watching film when they're at home, when it doesn't count. And, when the lights aren't on and the cameras aren't there and coaches aren't screaming at them and no one's looking, they're at home doing extra work and putting in time and working out when they don't need to be and spending more time on their craft. And that's the same to be said here. Those that are doing more are growing more, or getting bigger, or making more money, and able to have more impact. And for me, as I look at it, our role has certainly changed over the years. Where at the beginning we were just hiring people and putting them in the teams, right? And over the years, certain people will step up and just do more than everybody else around them, and they'll go up to the next level. Right? Maybe you're a sales manager. Maybe you're now at a VP level. Maybe you're at an EVP. Maybe you're pushing towards board member. And it's a lot of hard work going, but it certainly gets easier. And like when you watch a lot of major league players, man, I talked to Dom and Killiman a lot about it. When they saw those baseballs coming at them, and they talk to me about, like, they can tell what pitch it is based on the laces. I'm like, I can't even hardly see the ball coming at me in a batting cage that's going like 50 or 60 miles an hour, and you're reading the laces on a 90-mile-an-hour curveball, fastball, whatever. I'm like, yeah, we just had a lot of reps. We've been standing there for a lot of pitches. We've swung at a lot of balls. We've seen it so many times. It goes slower, and this feels very similar. And, I always looked at it from the reverse. And when I was, quote unquote, in the farm system, just having been brought into this deal, I really wanted to do my best to stand out. I wanted to do more than everybody else around me. And I wanted to add value to the overall organization. So I did my best to go out and help Mike and help Sean and help anybody I could to better the company in any way I could. And again, over the years, that certainly changed. So I try to encourage our new agents to really dive into this thing and understand we're really looking for those of you that are going out of the way to help others and who are doing more than others. And those of you that are standing out, we certainly have the ability to go in there and go, all right, let's work more directly in here. Let's get in here and help this guy and There's many of you guys looking forward into some of these partnerships, and we're looking forward to helping you guys. So again, part of that process is really getting in there and bringing a lot of people on, helping them understand what it takes to be successful here, which is just getting enough leads, going to work, and going at this thing like the professional you want to get paid like, right? And my role is to identify the people that are doing that more than others, and really work with them one-on-one and fine tune this thing so you can achieve everything you want to achieve. And if you're not willing to follow the blueprint, I'm not mad at you. I just can't help you, so leave me out of it. Meaning you don't need me to be mediocre, right? So that's how the relationship's going to be. No different than nobody needed Matt Walker to be his trainer if they wanted to be fat and out of shape. So just leave the guy alone. Stay home and stop complaining about things. And so I just, again, that's the mentality. And it's not in a mean way, but again, don't think people need you to go out and write 5 or 10 grand. They just, certainly during the beginning. Yes, everybody, you need to hold people's hand through the onboarding process. Make sure they go through that part smoothly. But after that, it's people are going to stand out on their own. People are going to be doing the work just like you should be when nobody's looking. And you start to put enough people in the system. You start to have this organization. The Yankees have hundreds of players in their system that they get to choose from to really focus on. Like there can only be one starting third baseman for the Yankees, and within Kilomet's group, I wanted to be that VP. I wanted to be that guy. I wanted to be his starting pitcher, if you will, his starting quarterback. And, again, I just tell people that's what I'm looking for is who really wants it, who can I pull in and who can I help? And if that's you, great. And if it's not, again, there's plenty of resources for you available here. And that's been a killer mentality for us. Again, systems have been insanely helpful for us if you're curious about any of them. But again, start with basics, keep track of stuff. If Excel works for you, great. It's really simple. Another tool we use is Monday.com, super simple. Again, don't overwhelm this thing. If you got 2 agents, you don't need tons of tools and resources. And then there's a million email campaigns. Many of them have little automations to them. And that's all we've done is really look internally and go, how can we get this guy that we hired today paid as quick as possible? And it's everybody internally's responsibility to take their piece. Mine is to set expectations, short-term goal structure. Amanda is to quickly take them through the onboarding process. And then we get them out there in the field. And then it's again, my role and their role to continue to get better at this thing and work at it like a partnership that it is. And, again, now it's been, we're 6 years into this company and it is what it is today. And all I can do is, one, thank all the people that have helped me get to this position and learn how to do this. And then just a crazy thanks to all the producers that are out there helping families, the managers everywhere, with not only within my group, but the whole company. We can't do this thing without you guys, and all the meetings and trainings and the stuff y'all are putting out there now for content is unbelievable. So we appreciate every one of you guys that's doing it. Hopefully you got some things to take away that you can implement and put into play. Again, anything we can do to help, always here. As long as you're out there working hard, we're here to help you. So anything myself or Amanda can do to help, please let us know. And to those of you just getting started with us, this is a great opportunity, a great time to get started. And the sacrifice that you're going to have to make to have success here is worth it so many times over. I can't begin to explain to you. So just go out there and help a lot of people and keep your head down. Let's go out and crush 2020 together. Make this, continue setting record after record each month. And again, happy and proud to be part of this thing. And hope everybody has a great day. Keep doing what you're doing out there. Appreciate every one of you guys. Later.